Hey, hello, and welcome to the show. It's me, JP. It's time for JP's product pick of the week. And I am so excited to have everyone here. Thanks for joining us over in the YouTube chat as well as the Discord. And if you're watching elsewhere and you want to join in on the chat, then head to our Discord. It's at adafruit.it/Discord. Jump into the live broadcast chat channel. That's where things are going on right here, right now. So let's see, what have we got going on here today? You know what, the first thing I want to do is send you on over to the product page for this week's product pick. You can watch this show from inside there. It's broadcast from inside the page. This is the URL for it, so head to product 4600, or you can use the QR code there if you like to use those sorts of things. And go check it out. We have a 50% off discount this week on the product pick, and you can get up to 10 of them. So if you really want to go wild with these, this is a great one to do it on. Super useful, helpful, fun little product. So before I say any more about it, what I'm going to do is jump back just a couple years to the product introduction with Lady Ada. So take it away, Lady Ada.
The star of the show tonight, besides the community, the customers aren't there. Our Adafruit team is Cutie Pie.
Cutie Pie. So this is, it's a little bit like a trinket. It's smaller than Itsy Bitsy. It's a cute board, and it can run Python, so that's why it's called the Cutie Pie. It also has a STEMMA QT connector. It's one of our first little boards that has that. And that makes it great for plug-and-play projects that use any of our STEMMA QT boards. And it can also connect to Grove sensors with an adapter cable. It can connect to any SparkFun Quick boards as well. It's perfect. It's the perfect size because no other connector would fit on a board this small. So it's a SAMD21 E18.
And the thing is, USB-C, STEMMA, NeoPixel,
castellated pads,
reset button, castellated pads.
So it's got USB-C, so you can plug it any which way you want. And it's got a SAMD21, so it's for Arduino's projects, it's amazing. It's got great support. We've written so many tutorials and projects and libraries for the SAMD21. It's got 256K of flash and 32K of RAM. So, compared to an Arduino Uno, it's got 8 times as much of everything. There's a regulator that can supply 500 milliamps of current. There's a NeoPixel LED here, so it's got full color, and you can turn off the NeoPixel with a power pin. It's got a reset button, so you can get into the bootloader, or you can reset your project very easily. And you don't have to worry about it. You don't even solder it. There's no soldering required to build most projects. You can just plug and play with any of our I2C boards, and you'd be surprised. A lot of sensors and devices are I2C now. So you get a lot of pins. You get analog output on A0, analog in on A1, analog in on A2 and A3, I2C. You got UART, which can also do analog, SPI. These can all do PWM. You can do I2S. You've got, one of each I2C, UART, SPI hardware support. So it's very easy to interface with any hardware you like. You can play little audio clips in Arduino. You can control displays. You can just have sensor data output to serial, and then you can just plug it into your computer and then use it within processing or Unity or what have you. So I think it's, I wanted to have a trinket-like board with a QT connector, and this just was the perfect size. It's based off of the Arduino Shao, which is the same pinout, so you can use the same accessories. It's got the same chip. But it's a little bit different because this one, of course, has a reset button, NeoPixel, and QT plugs. That's why the layout's a little bit different.
That is Cutie Pie.
Yay!
It is cute. It runs Python.
If you want one,
STEMMA.
pick it up now.
Yes, that's right. If you want one, pick it up now. Here it is. Look it. It is back. It is our best little friend, the Cutie Pie SAMD21. As you probably know, these at SAMD21 chips, the M0s, they've been really hard to get for the last couple of years due to the global parts shortage, and we've gotten a ton of them in, so we have these available. You can pick them up today, half price. Just head right on over there, and you can go and get them half price. Let's talk about this. So That's my product pick of the week this week. It is the return of the Cutie Pie SAMD21. It's a Cortex M0 board. It is in the form factor of the Arduino Xiao. And as you know, in the last couple years since these first came out, we've made a handful of different boards in this size, in this form factor with different chips on them. This is the original, the original one right here. And the Cortex M0 is fantastic. We have so many projects that you can build. If you look in the Learn guides, you'll see there's a ton of stuff you can do with the SAMD21 M0 based projects. Some of the things I love about it: 1, USB-C. 2, the fact that it is USB HID compliant all the way through, so you can do MIDI projects with it, keyboard projects with it, mouse projects with it, serial stuff, all available over USB. So it makes it great for those types of projects. Also, because of the Stemma QT port on there, you can plug in the many I2C peripherals that are available out there, and especially the ones that have that Stemma QT port. It makes it plug and play. For example, here's one. I was messing around with this stuff again recently. We've got a little plug right there. I'm going to plug that in. This is a WeChuck adapter, lets you use various Nintendo accessories, and a little OLED display. So you can see no soldering, just plugging and playing, and you can get a project up and running. You can do your projects in Arduino. You can do your projects in CircuitPython. And I'll show you actually one. Here's a nice little demo I've got set up of some of the power of the board here. I'm going to reset this and switch over. Pull a camera out here. Give us some focus. Got some nice soft focus going there. So here you can see, here's an example of a project where I have a really large number of NeoPixel LEDs being driven by our little friend, the M0. Let me get that board stable there. And in this case, I've soldered some wires to it, so you could do this sort of thing over Stemma QT. In this case, I just went for direct soldering to the data in and ground to the board. I have a data out pin. I don't really need to use that one. The board in this case is a bazillion LEDs, so that's being powered over its own separate connection, but you can use 5-volt and 3-volt power. We have both of those out, so if you need stuff directly off of the USB power, you can do that with this board. Some other stuff, I'll leave this pretty graphic up here if it'll stay put. Some other interesting facts about the Cutie Pie here. We've got 11 GPIO pins on here. So if you look, here's one that's not plugged in, so I feel a little safer poking around on it. You've got 14 of these pins with castellated pads on them, which means you can surface mount it. And this board is surface mountable because it's got nothing on the bottom. Now you can go ahead, if you want to goose it a bit, you can solder on a little extra 2 megabyte flash chip if you want to. But in this form, it can be soldered straight onto a board, surface mount style. So we've got 3 pins up here that deal with power, but then the rest of these pins, the 11 pins, are usable for all sorts of GPIO. Digital ins, we've got 9 analog inputs. We've got 1 true analog output. You can PWM, I think 9 of the pins. We've got hardware I2C over the Stemma QT port. We also have SPI, UART, I2S for digital audio. And 6 of the pins are cap touch capable, so you can do capacitive touch projects with this as well. Let's see, what else is there to say? Let me check in with the chats over here. Actually, I'll bring up the Discord. Where'd you go, Discord? There you are. Excuse me. Can you use any inputs for capacitive touch? Yeah, 6 of them. And I had a project, excuse me. Got so excited I forgot how to breathe. I had done a project at one point where I just attached some little sort of spring steel to 6 pads, and I was able to touch those to do capacitive touch input, which makes for really nice wearable projects, interactive art types of projects. Yeah, DJ Devon3 says, I like it for small LED projects. These are great for doing your development on a little plug-and-play board if you want to use that for LED stuff, for NeoPixel stuff. And they are so darn small they're great for wearables. So DJ Devon3 mentioned doing Halloween projects, stuffing them inside of a mask. They're just so tiny. Look at this. It's basically thumb-sized. I can't hold my thumb that way under this camera without breaking my wrist. But there you can see. Look at that. It's a tiny little board. Let's see, what else have I mentioned? Oh yeah, for USB you also can use it for storage. That's another, besides the keyboard, mouse, MIDI, serial, there's also storage, so you can save files onto it if you need to. It's a 48 megahertz chip, and it's got 256K of flash built on. Like I said, you can add more if you want. We have a different cut of the CircuitPython that you can put on called Hackexpress if you put the 2 megs on. And we've got 32K of RAM on there as well. And it is such a modular system thanks to the Stemma QT. You can plug and play all sorts of sensors, just endless numbers of sensors and inputs. But we've also got, let me zoom out here a second and give myself a little more space to show stuff. Zoom way out here. Let me fix that focus again. You can see we have these add-ons that go right on top of, or actually on the belly of the Cutie Pie. So just like that. I've got them in the bags here, but you can see we've got a NeoPixel BFF. We call them BFFs, best friends forever. So you can hook that on to be a nice NeoPixel driver board. We've got the LiPoly, that gives you power and battery charging. We have the NeoKey, that gives you a key switch, mechanical key switch that just bolts right on there. And we also have a micro SD card. If you have a project that you need to pull files off a SD card, you can do that as well. And then maybe you're plugged into a display or something else like that. So super versatile board and a really convenient board for your projects. And really inexpensive. Normally these are $7.50. Today, if you head right here to that URL that you see, you're going to get them for $3.75 for this board. You can't do better than that. That's outrageous to have a SAMD21 based development microcontroller with all of those peripherals, all of those add-ons for $3.75. Fantastic. Let's see, what else have I, oh yeah, let me jump over here. This is over in the Learn system. If you just type in Cutie Pie, you'll see we've got the main guide for Cutie Pie. You can head there. You can also see there are a lot of projects that use the Cutie Pie. Here was my green screen retroreflective LED project. We've got NeoPixel guide for using with Cutie Pie, activity timer, some other LED projects, some lighting with Lego projects, and on and on. And if you click on that main guide right there, that'll get you started. That'll give you the info you need to update the UF2 bootloader if you need to put your version of CircuitPython that you want on there, how to run it in Arduino. We've also got the pinout here. I'll show you what all those pins are usable for. It's a little small right there, but you can see a lot of those pins have multiple uses, so you can set them up and use them the way you want. Give you a little info about powering it, and then example code to run in Arduino and in CircuitPython to get you started. So that, I think, is going to do it. You know what, I'll check, sometimes I check these a little late, so I'm just going to check over in our YouTube and Discord to see if there's any other questions or thoughts people have. Jim Edgar says, bought a bunch of these, love them. Awesome, that's great to hear. Let's see. DJ Devon3, one of the most underrated features is the 5-volt out for NeoPixels at full power. You don't get that with most feathers. 5-volt makes the NeoPixels a little bit brighter. Beata says, dang it, what else do I need to get? You can't go wrong with the BFFs. They're a lot of fun to have those little pluggables, as well as maybe some of the header pins to plug those into. You can, if you want to do development on one kind of use it as your development board. You can, of course, solder the pins on it and plug it into a little breadboard, maybe get a half-size breadboard. You can also put a little Kapton tape underneath the bottom just so that none of those pads short anything. And then you can solder it flat right onto a perma-proto, maybe like a quarter size or the mint tin one. So it makes a really, if you need a really, really flat PCB for a project, that's kind of a nice little combo there. Some of the insulating Kapton tape and one of the perma-proto boards. Really nice to make tiny little projects that you can tuck away. Yeah, and like Mr. Certainly says, it is so small compared to a Feather. And then if you do say, hey, you know what, there's a feature of the Feather that I really want. Let's say it's the battery charging and the JST plug for the LiPo. Then you can get one of these. Get this LiPoly BFF there. Plug that onto there, and you'll get an on-off switch, and you'll get the charging circuit and the plug for the battery. So really, really versatile. All right. I think, is this Discord? Is the username asks, can you talk a bit about power consumption? I don't know a ton about the power consumption on this. The best bet, if you look back here at the Learn Guide, is head to the last page, says downloads. This will give you the datasheet for the chip, so you can find out at least that much about it. It'll also give you the board files and schematics. If you look at, it might be on the pinout sheet. Let's see. This talks about what you can draw. So over the 3-volt line, you can draw 500 milliamps. The 5-volt line is often tied to your USB, so I think you can get 500 milliamps peak one. But I'm actually not sure about power consumption on the board. That's a good question. If anyone has any info about that, please add that to the chat. We also have various methods of putting the board to sleep when it's not in use, so then you have a much lower quiescent power on it. Rufus said, what was the insulating tape called? I couldn't quite get the name. The brand name for it is Kapton with a K, K-A-P-T-O-N. It's also called polyamide tape. Let me see if let me jump back to my Chrome browser here. Do we have it as Kapton? Oh, sorry, I'm in the Learn Guide. There we go. Yeah, high temperature polyamide tape, right here. Commercial name is Kapton, but known as polyamide tape. Any other questions? That looks like it's it. All right. Well, hey, thank you again so much for stopping by. There's the site. Jump back a couple pages. Looks like, do we still have them in stock? Yes, looks like we're still in stock with these. So you can get that until the show is over. There's the URL if you want it nice and big there. Get out from under that barcode. You can get that pricing without a coupon code. Just throw it in your cart right now during the show. There's also some suggestions for some add-ons there, like if you're wondering about that 2 meg flash chip that you can solder to the bottom to use it in hack express mode. That's there. No coupon code necessary. The price is good during the show. It'll drop back to the full price, $750, after the show. So you'll want to put that through your cart and into the system before the time is up. And with that, I will say thank you so much for stopping by today. That is my product pick of the week this week. It is the Cutie Pie SAMD21 Cortex M0. Thanks everyone for Adafruit Industries. I'm John Park. This has been JP's product pick of the week. Bye-bye.